Join me as I take on the ultimate challenge of being trapped in a cave for 7 days with MrBeast. Can we survive the adventure? I'm not gonna lie, when MrBeast approached me with this idea, I thought he was crazy. Like, what kind of person voluntarily gets trapped in a cave for a week? But as he explained his vision, I started to see the appeal. We're not just talking about surviving in a cave, we're talking about making the most of it, enjoying the experience, and learning from it. And let's be real, who wouldn't want to spend a week with MrBeast? As we prepared to descend into the darkness, I couldn't help but think about the challenges that lay ahead. One of the biggest concerns was our limited resources. We'd have to ration our food, collect our own water, and rely on a few basic tools to get us through the week. But it wasn't just about physical survival, we'd also have to contend with the psychological effects of isolation. No phone signal, no internet, no human interaction except for each other. It was a daunting prospect, to say the least. The first few days were tough. We had to get used to the darkness, the silence, and the feeling of being completely cut off from the world. It was like being in a sensory deprivation tank, but instead of floating in a pod, we were stuck in a cold, damp cave. MrBeast and I had to work together to find ways to stay entertained, from telling stories to playing games with rocks and sticks. It was amazing how creative we became when we had to be. As the days went by, we started to settle into a routine. We'd wake up, eat our meager breakfast, and then try to find ways to occupy ourselves. We built a makeshift campfire, went exploring, and even tried to catch some fish in the nearby stream. It wasn't easy, but we learned to appreciate the small victories, like finding a hidden underground pool or discovering a new type of cave-dwelling insect. One of the most intense moments came when we realized our food supply was running low. We'd been rationing our meals, but it was clear we wouldn't make it through the week unless we found a new source of nutrition. MrBeast suggested we try to hunt for rabbits, but I was hesitant. I'd never hunted before, and the thought of killing an animal was unsettling. But MrBeast was adamant, and eventually, we set out to catch our dinner. It was a tense experience, but in the end, we managed to snag a rabbit, and it was probably the most satisfying meal I'd ever had. Looking back on our time in the cave, I'm amazed at how much we grew as individuals and as a team. We learned to rely on each other, to trust each other, and to adapt to any situation. It wasn't always easy, but it was worth it. We formed a bond that I'll never forget, and we discovered strengths we never knew we had. Survival in a cave for 7 days with MrBeast may have started as a challenge, but it turned out to be an adventure of a lifetime. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What do you think is the most important skill for surviving in a cave? And if you want to